can't hear you.
Well, I tell you what a game, huh?
Jerry, none of us are the. Hi, Jerry. He just did an open, and you and I aren't even in it. You see the open to the show?
Yeah.
Phillips, what are you doing to us?
I can't put my picture on the intro and you give me more money. That's all I ask.
Well, hey, can you hear me? Number one.
I can hear you, Phillips.
Okay. Unlike 23 years ago when I was producing the Fedco Zone, I'm not producing this show. All right? I'm just here. I'm just channeling my inner John Fedco hosting this little internet broadcast. But hey, what are we talking about? A Steelers victory, potentially. Yeah, now they got the onside kick. A Steelers victory of the unlikeliest fashion with 6 turnovers. John Fedco, Jerry DePaula joining us on Steel City Sunday postgame show, live from the North Park Lounge, Richland, and the Hilltop Event Center. John, you want to relive the open that you didn't do that nobody heard, or
well,
what do you want to do?
First of all, you got the best gig. Jerry and I are just hanging out at our homes. You're down there. The North Park Lounge is phenomenal. You're going to get to watch the Chiefs and the Bills down there with all the food and everything. I love that place. So that's a great gig you got going on down there, Johnny, hanging out at the North Park Lounge and watching football. It's a great place. And now, you know it. I know it. So
it is. It is.
It is a great place.
The only question is, and according to Jerry DePaula in the pregame, we need to get you down here and have a few frosty beverages. Isn't that what you said, Jerry DePaula?
Well, that's what I meant, a root beer.
That's right. That's right. I see the Beatles' White Album is still in the background. I love you, John.
That's the Beatles in mono. That's all their albums in mono.
Is it really?
That's not the White Album, but I have like 20 copies of the White Album, including the original mono from the UK. They're all numbered. Anyway, let's talk about the Steelers.
Yes, let's do that.
Okay. So
John,
the key.
Philip, I wanted to let you know, speaking of the pregame, what did I say in the pregame? 23-20 Steelers.
You did say that. Pretty close enough. Close enough.
7-20.
Yeah, pretty close. John Fedco, go right ahead, sir.
The voice of reason. That's what Jerry DePaul is always the voice of reason. Don't ever forget that. Jerry, great call. The final score is 6-1. That's the final score because the turnovers, there you go. You know, the Steelers go 3 games without turnovers and it's chaos. And all of a sudden, their defense, looks like a world beater. And their special teams. I thought the Steelers' special teams outstanding. I know they gave up the fake punt. By the way, Jerry, my man on the fake punt from Central Catholic. That guy's from Central Catholic, the guy that ran Ronnie Thompson.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, Central Catholic kid. Oh, yeah, covered him in skylights. I think he graduated. It was like 2016. Ronnie Thomas went to Yale. Anyway, the guy
covered everybody in skylights, John. Anybody's anybody in WPIL, you were there.
I gotta get your grandkids. I'm waiting. The Lopes, the mighty Lopes, they're coming, man. They're coming. Your kids and your grandkids. 2 of them, right? Playing for the Lopes. Two grandkids playing for Ivanworth, right?
2, yes.
Jerry?
2.
Okay.
They're only in 9th grade though. Only fresh.
That's all right. They're gonna be. They have their time. It's a program, Jerry. Okay. So anyway, the big thing here's the turnovers. Obviously, that is the number one story. 6-1 turnovers, phenomenal. The number two story is the Colts are overrated. And we kind of talked about this the last couple of weeks. And again, the voice of reason may have mentioned this in the pregame show. The Colts play in an indoor environment in a dome. Here they are coming into a tough environment, grass, going to be loud. Okay, you got this high-powered offense, but that Steelers crowd, you got to give them credit. They were loud today. They were into it. Yeah, there were some Indy fans in the stadium, but it was a crowd at its best. So it's a very, very tough environment for an indoor team to come in. So the Colts come back to earth. Still have a great quarterback, great receiving core. You saw what happened on the running game, though, okay? I don't know what Taylor ended up with. I know before the last craziness, which I haven't watched, he only had 45 yards.
Yeah.
He had 45 yards. I mean, they completely shut him down. They sold out and shut down the run. And that was a critical part of this game. Want to mention about a couple other key things. How about Peyton Wilson, Jerry? I mean, this kid's a star. I mean, he comes out of nowhere. Number 41. Who is this kid? All of a sudden, okay, the pick may have been a complete defensive great play. But how about the rush play he made with the tip pass was critical. I mean, the Colts still thought they were in the game. I thought that was the big turnover. When Wilson comes in, tips that pass up, it gets picked off. That kid came out of nowhere and played a great game. The other guy that came out of nowhere was Calvin Austin. Okay, and we got the trade deadline coming up, okay, on Tuesday. And it used to mean nothing in the NFL. It actually means something now, especially with this GM who hasn't been afraid to pull the trigger. So they've been talking about, you've been hearing, well, maybe they're going to go out and get another receiver. I don't know. I loved what I saw from Calvin Austin. I mean, I thought he was
necessary, John. I think they're fine. I think they're fine.
I do too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I do. I think Metcalf
tight ends. Your man Washington had a nice game today too.
He did, Jerry. And the thing about Washington that I loved about that kid, and I love him, and how can you not love him? How can you not love a 300-pounder with a 6'8" or whatever? Is he played poorly? You know, I'm not blaming Washington. I mean, I'm not blaming Aaron Rodgers for the bullet he fired, you know, on a slant at the goal line. Washington, he's in the NFL. He's got to catch that ball. All right. So right. He had two drops, and he should have caught the other one. He had another one in his hands. This guy's a big guy, dude. You're in the NFL. Catch the ball. So Rodgers gave him two catchable balls. Both could have been touchdowns, and he dropped them early. But to his credit, he comes back and has a great game. And he's unstoppable in that slant, man. You saw it late in the game in the fourth quarter. Unstoppable in that slant. I love him.
What I like about Aaron Rodgers is that when a guy makes a mistake, one of his teammates makes a mistake, whether it's a drop pass or a missed block or bad road, he lets them have it. He lets them know. He gives them the business because he's been in the league, you know, for 2 decades. He's like a coach on the field, trying to show these guys the right way and making everybody accountable. That's what happens. That's how you become a great team, John. Is you have people on your team who are accountable in that locker room. And Rodgers is making everybody accountable. And I think that's just as important as how well he throws the ball.
I totally agree with you. And again, I thought Darnell Washington started out having a bad game and ended up having a great game. He's just a force to be reckoned with. He is the fridge all over again in the passing game. He is an unbelievable target, and you saw it towards the end of the game. They could not stop him. You got this giant 300-pounder coming on a slant. You just can't stop it. So I love that. And, of course, the other giant headline is the stars were stars. Cam Hayward, great game. TJ Watt, obviously, great game with a strip sack, critical play. Highsmith, who was hurt early in the game, looked like unbelievable game. Highsmith was phenomenal. You know, they came with a blitz. And if you watch any of this and break down the tape, you're going to see it. You saw it on the one sack. I think it was Highsmith got a sack. Watt was getting held, man. They were just literally holding him.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. He had a great game. All of the defensive line, give him an A+. Give Hayward an A+. Give Watt an A+. And even the linebacker Smith, Highsmith was phenomenal. I give them an A+. They were sensational. They stopped the run. The run was not a factor at all. There was like maybe a 9-yard run or something. They completely shut that running game down, and they put a ton of heat on the quarterback. And you got to give the defensive coordinator credit for the Steelers. The defense was sensational today.
They allowed
describe it.
Yeah, they allowed 55 yards rushing today against Jonathan Taylor and the Colts. And by the way, nobody has mentioned Peyton Wilson. 14,
I mentioned him right at the top.
14 total tackles, 10 solo today. You were right about no, you did.
Peyton Wilson was one of the stars of this game.
And Alex Highsmith, 3 tackles for losses, the 2 sacks. He was really good today. They were all good. 6 turnovers. 16 on the season, 14 in 3 games, but in really the biggest moment right now, the defense really did shine today. And especially after they gave up that initial drive to be down 7-0, they really just stepped it up from that point on.
We know us out of control media guys, you got to go both ways. We can't come at shows, and I'm as guilty as anybody, and go nuts when they're bad. when they're good, I thought this was an incredibly well-coached game by everybody. Start with Tomlin and go down to the coordinators. The special teams were phenomenal. I thought the special teams were obviously the muffed punt was a great play. Okay, they gave up the fake field goal. Well, that was a great play. It was a great call, again, made by a Central Catholic kid. Other than that, I give the special teams an A+. I mean, they did a really good job doing what they had to do in a game like this. And I give the coaching staffs an A, all of them, all across the board. Everybody.
The other thing is,
really well-coached game.
In the past several weeks, couple weeks, the defense that I've been criticizing defense for being too old and for Mike Tomlin being out of touch and not calling the right plays.
Me too.
You know what? People get carried away too much. They lose 2 games in a row, and all of a sudden the sky is falling. And oh my goodness, the Steelers are going to end up 6-11 this year. They're going to get a high draft pick. No, the defense isn't the greatest. This is an imperfect team, obviously, but you know what? These guys are veterans, and when they have bad games, they're able to bounce back from them because you don't let it get inside their heads like some fans let things get inside their heads.
Or some media people. I listen to some of the radio shows, but again, I'm not blowing smoke for us, but this is why Bill Phillips pays us the big bucks, you and me, because we're not coming. Now, I have said they can go to the Super Bowl, and I'm standing by that because the conference is not good. Watch the Kansas City Buffalo game. Those teams, that is not the same Kansas City Buffalo teams from 3 years ago. They can be beaten. And I'm going to stand by this statement. I stood by it even last week. If the Steelers get a home playoff game, the difference this year is they've got Aaron Rodgers at their quarterback. They get a home playoff game, they got a shot. And this division is still really bad. I saw the Baltimore game on Thursday. I'm still not a believer in them and that defense. I think I said, Johnny, don't interrupt me. I said last week. I want to get to. I want to make this play.
Let him talk. Let him cook.
No, let me talk. Let me talk.
Let him cook.
Jerry deserves credit. I'm talking with Jerry. I'm going to give him credit. He picked the Steelers to win the game on the pregame show. Okay. And I said last week, listen, these are the games Tomlin wins. He's probably going to win it. And guess what? I'll say right now, they're going to beat the Chargers because it's a home game. You know that. When they go to LA, that's a home game. The whole stadium is going to be Steeler fans.
It is. Yeah, no, it is going to be a home game. And if Bill Phillips is paying you, I don't know who I am. I'm just going to say that right now. And I love Bill Phillips. I just wish he's still in Wheeling.
Bill Phillips. Okay, listen. I love Billy. I'm calling you Bill because first of all, I love Billy Phillips. I think he's back in Youngstown.
I was going to say he's back in Youngstown, is he not?
But listen, I'm 65, man. I've lost it. As people rightfully say, he's just washed up. I am. I'm an old guy. I'm an old man. So if Billy Phillips, John Phillips, whatever, I need to come down to the North Park Lounge and get a beer.
I root beer.
No, Jerry, I need a real beer.
I don't even know how to answer that question, but hey, nonetheless,
the voice of reason.
The voice of reason, absolutely. Hey, it's Steel City Sunday here, live from the North Park Lounge, Richland Hilltop Event Center. We are basking in the glow of a Steelers victory, 27-20. Outside of the first quarter, they dominated this game. The Steelers forced 6 turnovers. Jalen Warren, 2 rushing touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, efficient. 25 of 35 for 203 yards. He threw a touchdown, no picks. He was sacked 3 times. But this defense, again, just stepping up in a spot. Now, last week, I thought, hey, this is Mike Tomlin's opportunity. He's well in these situations. First half was great. They didn't. This time around, Tomlin's team really responded. Jerry DePaula, let's hear from you about the defense specifically.
Well, you know what? Like I said in the pregame, I think that you need a good pass rush to be able to have a secondary play well. And the secondary played well, I thought, because they were putting a lot of heat on Daniel Jones. And Daniel Jones, as we've shown in the past, gets a little skittish back in the pocket, and he makes bad throws. That interception he threw to Peyton Wilson, I don't know what he was looking at. It was right in Wilson's arms. And people were talking about Daniel Jones, being an MVP candidate. He still may be. There's a lot of football left to be played. But, when you got Hayward coming up the middle like he was, and Watt and no Herbig today. Herbig didn't play that much, and somehow they were able to play. People are complaining, why isn't Herbig playing? Well, Herbig didn't play a whole lot today, except near the end or when Highsmith got hurt. They did just fine. Defense played one of its best games of the season. Whether they can continue to do that week after week after week, you got to remember the Chargers aren't bad. They got the Bengals, the Bears, and 2 games against the Ravens. Okay, 2 games against the Ravens, and they have a 2-game lead on the Ravens right now. So this thing isn't over by a long shot. I think the Ravens have a weaker schedule down the stretch than the Steelers, and I think they're going to continue to keep winning. And the defense needs to keep playing well. They can't expect the quarterback to throw the ball in their arms every week. But if they get the pass rush, you can get T.J. Watt going and keep Highsmith healthy. This team has a chance to maybe get a home playoff game. I'm not picking them for the Super Bowl, but I'll pick them to at least qualify for the playoffs at this point.
You know who I know you're not picking for the Super Bowl? The Cincinnati Bengals, because they're awful. They just gave up a touchdown, and now Chicago leads 47-42 with just seconds left.
I can't believe they got in the game. They never get blown out.
Interesting, though. 42 points. 42 points. They can
like the last 12 games in Cincinnati have gone over the Vegas posted total. I wouldn't play that this week.
John, I'm not a believer in Baltimore because their defense. I think this division is so bad. You got to win this division. If there's Steelers.
Yeah, right. At 5-3 right now. No, it's terrible. I know.
I'm with you. I'm with you, Jerry.
They're playing well. And Rodgers didn't have a great game today, but he makes enough good plays to get it done. Like I said, this is an imperfect team, and they're going to lose some games down the road, and people are going to be bitching and moaning about it for weeks on end. But at the end, I think they'll be okay. But the Ravens, got to watch out for the Ravens. They're coming up.
Well, since Cincinnati, of course, the Steelers have the Chargers next, but then after that, they got to come home. Joe Flacco in this game, and he'll have another, 17 seconds to add to this. 30 of 44. Any idea what his passing number is? Yardage. 457 yards and 4 touchdowns for Joe Flacco. Are we kidding? What are we even talking about? 457 yards for a 40.
They've got an offense. We've seen that. They've got receivers.
Yeah.
They've got an offense.
That's no good because I'm playing him in fantasy football today.
A crazy day. Hey, real quickly, we'll get back to John and Jerry in a second. I want to go over to the scores from earlier in the 1 o'clock card. All these games are officially a final, starting with Carolina on the road. The Panthers defeat Green Bay 16-13. That's an upset. Minnesota, 9.5-point underdog on the road, defeats Detroit 27-24. Your final score there. Denver on the road beats Houston 18-15. Your final score in that one. How about that? As the Broncos win with 11 points in the fourth quarter of that victory. I mentioned the Bears and Bengals. That's the last early game that's actually live right now. Couple of other final scores to get to you. LA Chargers 27, Tennessee 20. San Francisco defeats the Giants on the road 34-24. Pittsburgh, of course, 27-20 over the Colts. New England now 7-2. 7-2. The Patriots 24-23 over Atlanta. Games that are in progress early on so far. Rams at home, 7-0 over New Orleans. Late first quarter there. Kansas City and Buffalo, midway first quarter, no score. Jacksonville and the Raiders, about a minute to go first quarter. No score in that one. Steel City Sunday post-game show. Jerry DePaula, John Fedko, live from the North Park Lounge, Richland of the Hilltop Event Center. Ronnie Hunter checking in via YouTube. Rodgers is the difference. John Fedko, what do you say?
I'd say Rodgers had an average game. The story of this game, but it was good enough. In a game like this, you don't want to turn the ball over. His Roman Wilson made a terrible play. What are you doing trying to hurdle guys with 3 minutes to go? Just sit down and run the clock there. But other than that turnover at the end, but that was totally on his receiver. He managed a game that all you had to do was, once you got that lead, was run the clock. And I thought the game was really well coached. I thought the offensive coordinator did a great job of the play calls. They were not doing anything that was crazy. Listen, once you got them up by once the Steelers are up by 14, it's Muhammad Ali time, man. It's rope-a-dope. You want to have 5 7-play drives. If you don't score, that's okay. And they had really good play calling. They were swinging it out to running backs. They were swinging it out to short passes to receivers. If your receiver's not trying to hurdle guys like Gale Sayers in 1970 and fumbles, they wouldn't have had any turnovers. I love the strategy. I thought Rodgers just he did the rope-a-dope. Didn't do anything great, but didn't do anything stupid. And I thought he played a good game. I mean, like Jerry said, we haven't seen this since Roethlisberger at the top of his game, as far as the leadership, the qualities that you don't see in the statistics. That's why I'm going to continue to say, and I'm going to stand by this, and hopefully I'm still doing this show. You haven't fired me by then, by post game, because I'm telling you, Tomlin doesn't win at home in the playoffs, but that's a lot of reason because of his quarterback lately. He's got a quarterback that will win at home in the playoffs. You give the Steelers a home playoff game with Aaron Rodgers, and the defense like this today, healthy, and they're going to win that game. He's going to find a way because of how he played today. He's not going to do something dumb. He's going to just do what he had to do.
Nothing's definite, John, because Ben lost 2 home playoff games recently. Jacksonville and the Cleveland. Nothing's assured in this league.
I'm not taking away from Ben, and if you look at some of the games,
all I'm saying is no guarantees.
Yeah,
just because
there are no guarantees.
Doesn't mean you're going to win a home playoff game.
I was at most of those games covering them that Ben lost at home, and he lost to some really great teams at home. They're like I like New England. I just take off the board. But here, let me just say this about this year. This is a different year. Again, watch the Kansas City Buffalo game today. There is no favorite. In fact, right now, I'd put the number 1 team as New England. They have a quarterback, and that kid is for real. Chiefs. And they go down the field. Chiefs. They're a big play team, Chiefs. And they're for real. But if they have to come to Hines, which I still call it, I know it's whatever acupuncture stadium, whatever they're calling. I'm an old man. It's Heinz Field to me. They got to come to the big yellow mustard stadium. Steelers are going to win that game. I'm just saying. The Steelers are going to win at home. And that may sound crazy now.
It's too soon to say that, John.
This league's not good. There's no great. You saw Indianapolis come back to earth. It's not. Look at the scores today. Detroit. Did Detroit end up losing that game?
They were losing to the Vikings. That's
crazy.
I see that. Yeah.
I mean, there is no dominant. Hey, it's Kansas City and Buffalo. Everybody else. That's not happening this year. It is completely up for grabs. And I think home field advantage is going to be critical because Indianapolis beats the Steelers in Indianapolis. The Steelers beat Indianapolis at home. It's that simple.
By the way, I just found Bill Phillips on X. He's got about 7,000 followers.
He's a giant.
He's an icon.
And I'm an old man.
And
I don't call it whatever they're calling acupuncture stadium. I still call it Heinz Field.
Listen, you talk about murderers row with the Yankees. You had John Fedko, Sam Nover, Bill Phillips, Richie Walsh, and I was in there too.
Richie Walsh is great. Richie Walsh is great. I love Richie Walsh. Nothing's better than Jerry. How about Jerry DiPaolo though? The great. When the newspaper.
Yeah, I was there a few times. I was on your show many times, John. Yeah.
No, John, if you point the finger the other way this time, point the finger the other way.
No,
the other way. Go the other. There you go, right there. Steel City Sunday post-game show. By the way, I want to talk about Arch Masonry and Restoration real quick because we can't do this without our sponsors. Arch Masonry and Restoration, I've been working with them for over a decade. They're looking for block finishers, brick masons. They're looking for concrete finishers. They're looking for labor help. 412-564-5733. If you have no experience and you're looking to jumpstart your career, get on board because Arch has programs that will help you get into that type of industry and get you into a trade. ArchMasonryInc.com. Go check them out online. 412-564-5733. We thank Arch Masonry for sponsoring Steel City Sunday. It is Jerry DiPaolo and John Fedko. I'm John Phillips. We're talking about the Steelers' 27-20 victory over the Indianapolis Colts at Acrisure Stadium. The defense forcing 6 turnovers. Jalen Warren, I was concerned about the running game, and they did not run the ball for much, but He got 2 key touchdowns.
Also,
and
carries 31 yards.
Yeah, again, look, the running game has not been great all season long. I know that his average has been over 4 yards a carry. I know that, there have been moments where they have run the football, but they did benefit from the short fields, no question. When you could turn the ball over that often defensively and give short fields to your offense, you're going to score points, and they certainly did that today, Jerry DePaula.
But to John's point, I think the Steelers need to beef up or play better in the run game, have a better run game if they're going to continue to keep knocking these teams off and stack wins and get to the playoffs. Because you can't be a great team in the postseason without a good running game. Because it's going to get cold. It's going to get windy. You're not going to be able to throw the ball as well. You better be able to run the ball. And they weren't able to run it very well today. They had the short fields. Thank goodness for them, because otherwise, who knows what would have happened today. But the defense stepped up and made the plays they need to make. But if you don't have a good running game, and you can't average two yards a carry and go to the playoffs, that just isn't good enough. And I think that's one thing the Steelers need to work on, this coming week before they go out to LA.
Well, I first want to say that remember, John, on the 6-1 turnovers, the big one was the muff pump. So that was on the special teams. Now, again, the guy made the mistake. Right. But that was a huge turnover. I mean, that set Indianapolis reeling when that guy muffed that punt.
Yeah.
But I want to say this about the Steelers' run game, because, again, they're doing the old Packers from 67 where they're swinging the pass out to the running back. So basically they're doing a run-pass game. I love what they're doing. And you can do that in the winter. You can be swinging those passes out to your running backs, swinging them out to your receivers, and letting them do a little yak, yard after catch. So they were very conservative in their pass game. And I love that. When your defense is playing like this, just don't turn the ball over. Run the clock, whether you want to do that with short swing passes, whether you want Rodgers checking down, and he's really good at that. Don't make a stupid mistake. And that's why Rodgers is great. He had an average game. But for the intangibles, like Jerry talked about, it's A+. So you give him an A, he's like Bart Starr of the 67 Packers. Doesn't put up gaudy stats, but he doesn't turn the ball over, and you win. At the end of the game, you're winning. So I want to talk about one play that was critical in the run game, and it was a great call by Tom. Again, I'm giving Tomlin an A. He's the guy at the top. Everybody was ready. I thought all the coordinators, top of their game. Offensive, defensive, special teams, all well coached, ready, great game plans. How about, remember, second quarter, Steelers are trailing 7-0. They have a 4th down. Great challenge by Indy. They call it a first down. And remember that. They got a first down on a 10-yard pass. Well, it was 9.5 yards. They challenged it. They won. It's 4th and 1. Steelers go for it. Okay? And who do they bring in? Connor Haywood.
Yeah.
Connor Haywood.
Yep.
And he dragged about 3 guys for that first
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about, you're going to win games like this against teams, and it's a must-win game. I think everybody would agree with that. This was a must-win game. Everybody in the media agreed with that. Had to win this one, okay? And it was just a great team effort. You had guys, that number 41. I mean, Calvin Austin. You had guys coming out of nowhere. You had your stars step up. We all can agree. Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, Highsmith, phenomenal. Rodgers, great. Darnell Washington, the fridge. Guy should be a superstar. The league needs to take a look at this guy. He is a star, okay? But then you had these other guys coming off the bench, the special teams. Since I thought Jalen Ramsey was sensational. I thought Jalen Ramsey, in fact, I think he had some huge stops on the run. He is a tough kid. Man, he hits hard. He plays hard. He had a great game. He kind of personifies the toughness of the Steelers. You have to have a guy like that. You have to have a hitman Atkinson in the backfield. He seems to be that guy. I love Jalen Ramsey. I love his game. I love the way he plays. Again, we're going to talk about the crazy rules. Late in the game, the Packers are driving. I don't know what he's supposed to do. He stops a guy. You got to hit him, and they call a personal foul. This league's out of control, but whatever. He played a great game, but I loved Connor Hayward on that 4th and 1. Great call, great personnel decision, and it was well executed. And if they don't get that 4th down, who knows what happens? The Colts are going to take over. Maybe it's 14-0, and this thing's off to the races with Indy. So that was a big play in this game.
It was, and I just want to clarify something. The muffed punt happened in the first quarter after a 3-and-out. They got the ball, and then the Steelers went for it on 4th down at the 4 and did not get anything. So it didn't cost the Colts anything, but you're right. That was a bit of a mistake by the Colts that they got away with. All right, we're going to go till about 5 o'clock, gentlemen. 5 o'clock, and then we're going to wrap up here. Maybe 5:15. We'll see how John Fedko feels. Can we get an Emerson, Lake, and Palmer album?
No, I'll put some Beatles and mono on. But so I want to get Jerry's thoughts on the San Diego. I'm already saying the Steelers are going to win this game. I really do. I think they play really well when they go out there and they get these home field advantages out there. What do you think is going to happen out there next week, Jerry?
Well, you know what? I like Justin Herbert. I think he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league. And yeah, there's going to be a Steeler Nation presence out there, but I still think it's going to be difficult to win on the West Coast. Difficult to win, and the Chargers are a very good team. Harbaugh's a good coach. He could have very easily I'll coach Mike Tomlin, and there'll be people moaning about Tomlin next week at this time. But if the defense can put a pass rush on Herbert, that changes things all around. If you got him sit back there and pick the defense apart like Flacco did, like Love did the last 2 weeks, you're not going to win. You got to put pressure on the quarterback, and Herbert's one of the better ones. He probably of the 3 the Steelers have played, or the 4 the Steelers have played recently, he's probably the best. And it's going to be a very difficult game to win on the road. And even if they lose it, I still think they can beat Cincinnati and Chicago and Cincinnati after that, and get themselves to 7-4 going down the stretch.
Well, and I think they're going to win it and beat Chicago and Cincinnati. That's why I'm not backing off that I think they're a Super Bowl contender, not because they're a great team. It's because the rest of the league isn't that good. And again, you saw Indianapolis come way back to earth in this game today. And you saw a bunch of teams come back to earth today. All around the league, there was craziness. It's just there's no dominant team.
That's what I mean. The NFL is like that. Just because a team is good, for the first 8 weeks of the season, or they're on one kind of a little bit of a winning streak, means nothing. It's what you do every week, because things change in the NFL.
I agree with that, Jerry. I agree with that. Although I think in the last 7 years, we could probably pick out a couple where you knew the Chiefs were probably going to win it, and that's not the case this year.
Well, I'm picking the Chiefs right now to win it, John. I think they're going to win.
It's not a bad pick. That's not a bad pick. The key with the Chiefs is, as everybody knows, 65-year-old Fed Cole calls John Phillips, Bill Phillips. You got to get him out of Arrowhead. You can't. If you go to Arrowhead, you're dead. You just can't play in Arrowhead. You got to get out of there. Now, the Buffalo Bills have learned they can still win on the road, but I don't think this is that Chiefs team. I think if the Bills get the Chiefs again in Buffalo in the playoffs, I'm putting the house on the Bills.
Chiefs have a better record.
You just got to get them out of Arrowhead.
Chiefs have a better record than the Steelers right now, right? Before Buffalo today, they only have 2 losses.
I don't know what's going on in that game. I haven't been watching it. I mean, that's a big game. That's a fun game.
Steelers are now 5-3. Kansas City 5-3, and they're down 7-0 right now in their game at Buffalo. By the way, Chargers are now 6-3. Monster game on Sunday night.
Monster
game.
It's a monster game because of the tiebreaker. That's an AFC game. This isn't like they can afford to lose to Green Bay. I said that game right after the game. Tiebreaker's going to be critical this year because, again, I feel home field's going to be critical as things even out, okay, and there's no dominant team. 2 factors come into play, home field and weather, okay? So you don't want to play at Indy with that dome because the Steelers will lose there in the playoffs. You don't want to play in Indy. You want to get home. You want to get at Heinz Field, hope it's 10 degrees and the wind's blowing, and I'm putting my money on the Steelers in that game. It's a big game for many reasons. The number one is it's an AFC game. It may come down to a tiebreaker thing. It's a critical game. Not as big as today. I'm not going to go back and say, like Jerry predicted I would last thing. I'm not going to go back and say this is the great. They just won the biggest game of the year.
Yes,
that was
I agree.
The biggest game of the year is next week.
Win this one. And this is why, I told Phillips, Phillips, you're not paying me enough to do pregame. But now, now, Big Mouth Fedco, I wish I was on pregame because I'd have said what you said. I'd have said they're going to win this game today. I got, you got all the media elite guys, and I'm not taking any shots at them. They're awesome. But I knew all the post-kids, the globalist elites. They're all saying, they're always wrong, aren't they? It's the Steelers are, I'm reading my paper. The Steelers are going to, no, they're not. Haven't you followed this team for 10 years? These are the games, and again, the voice of reason, Jerry said it this today. These are the games that Tomlin wins. If you're in midseason, the season's on the line, and you're at Heinz Field, Tomlin wins these games. I'm the 65-year-old man who's seen this act over and over with him. He loses the home playoff games. He wins the midseason Heinz Field gotta win games. He does it all the time. So this is not a surprise to the grizzled vets, Jerry and Fedco. You got the PG guys. They pay $1 billion over there to cover them, and they're all picking the Colts, and they should be ripped for it because you got to know the act here. This is not a surprise. I'm not going on, I'm shocked. This is what Tomlin does. And give him credit when credit is due. He and his coaching staff were phenomenal today. It was just a great plan and executed.
They were phenomenal today. Have we seen anything on Tomlin for postgame on YouTube? Speaking of critical, Bill Phillips said nobody gets paid this week. It's all the money's going into advertising for next week's pregame show, just in case you were wondering. I'm kidding. That's an absolute joke. John Fedco, Jerry DePaula, everybody's getting paid this week. I swear. I swear.
I want to make a point about Mike Tomlin. I think Tomlin gets more criticism after a loss than he gets praise after a win.
Not in this show.
You agree with that, John?
Yeah.
The best part is I don't pay you. I pay your wives.
Yeah,
that's the best part.
I haven't seen a dime.
But I think Jerry, you know what Mike Tomlin needs is he needs a playoff win. Okay, he needs a playoff.
Of course, yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, he's. I'm telling you, and again, if you haven't fired him by then, and it's possible. If we get to the postseason and they're playing at home, I don't care who they're playing. Throw any team in the AFC in. I'm going to guarantee this. If the Steelers are playing a home playoff game this year and Aaron Rodgers is healthy, and this team's relatively healthy, okay, the Steelers are going to win that game. They're going to win a home playoff game. But it's got to get a home game. And it's very, very possible.
It's pretty tough to make a prediction on November the 3rd.
I'm going to do it.
I'm
making it now.
The game is 2 months away,
No, I'm making it now because they've got the difference maker, which is Rodgers. He's not going to make a mistake at home. And it's a lot of it comes down to your quarterback. Again, bring the Chiefs here. Okay, now they're not going to get the Chiefs in a first-round game here. They're going to probably get somebody like Indy. Bring them here, man. Bring them here again when it's 10 degrees, the wind's blowing, the crowd's going nuts.
Used to cold weather.
Steelers fans haven't sold their tickets, and it's going to be the Steelers will win that game this year. But it's got to be at home, Jerry. If they go on the road again in the playoffs, they're losing.
Last home playoff win was against the Miami Dolphins, by the way.
Well, they beat the Dolphins on the road, but the Dolphins aren't making the playoffs. But if they go on the road to the playoffs this year, they're losing. They got to be at home.
What year was that, John Phillips?
It was 2017.
8 years ago, they won a home playoff game in 8 years.
Yeah. Last run. That's the last one.
Yeah.
Well, hey, look, a long way to go. 5-3. They got there today. Defense was just spectacular. What more can you say other than 6 turnovers? And, just practically after the first quarter, they just owned Indianapolis the whole afternoon.
Yeah.
They can win 6 out of their last 9 and get to 11.
Well, what I like about the schedule, like you've already mentioned.
Okay.
I love their schedule right now because obviously they have a tough game in San Diego, very losable, but I think they're going to win it. And then the next two are the division. The next two are the definition of gimmies. The next two are gimmies. They're going to win. I know the Bears are. They're going to beat the Bengals and the Bears.
All right.
So, I love them the next 3 weeks. And then now let's see where Baltimore.
Where's that? YouTube? I'll take it.
You know what I mean? I will see. I'm still not a believer in Baltimore. I think their defense is. I mean, their quarterback's great. Of course, if he's healthy, he's great. He's great. Baltimore's a great quarterback. Their defense is suspect. They just are. Yep.
We lost John Phillips' voice.
We may have to take over the show.
Can you hear me now? You've already taken over the show.
Fried pickles.
All right, we're going to try to give you Mike Tomlin's post-game presser live via the Steelers YouTube channel. The Steelers put this out on YouTube. We're giving them credit. Let's see if we can bring Mike Tomlin's post-game presser to you right now.
All right, Coach, go ahead. It was a tough week, but we certainly deserved it based on the last performance. I like the way the guys absorbed it, smiled in the face of it, and prepared and waited for the next opportunity. That's the National Football League, man. You get one shot about every 7 days, and sometimes you got to wear it. We certainly wore it this week. I'm appreciative of their spirit, their efforts, their resolve. Certainly we weren't perfect in any of the 3 phases, but we fought. We did what was necessary. We made plays. And so it's a big-time win for the collective. Can't say enough about the defense's effort to minimize the runner. I don't think you slow that group down unless you minimize the runner. And we were able to do that, and I think that's why we were able to get them in some one-dimensional circumstances, create some pressure, get some sacks, and the turnovers that go along with that. But it started with minimizing their dynamic runner, and he is that. He's dynamic. Thought we started a little slow on offense. We took the ball to keep the ball away from their dynamic offense, but we didn't do much with it there early. But again, it didn't overcome us. We stayed in the fight. The defense provided some short fields. We caught some momentum because of it. That's team football. Isaac Seumalo's got a peck. Wasn't able to finish. We got some other guys with some bumps and bruises. I think Slade dislocated his finger, was able to go back in. Can't say enough about Kyle Duggar. Just gave him a game ball in there. This guy got on the moving train, man, and played a lot of defense for us today, and we needed it. We were really short at the safety position tonight, coupled with D. Elliott's injury. We had some illness and some soft tissue injuries, man. We were running super thin, and that dude came in here, man, and gave us some quality work, and we're certainly appreciative of that. Questions?
How do you explain such a drastic difference? You shut down the run, take the ball away. You hold up. That's a high-scoring team in the league.
It's a fine line between drinking wine and squashing grapes in this business. It's nothing dramatic, it's really not. And that's why we respect it so much. Couple plays here and there that might have been different last week. We don't give up the 59-yard ball, the 33-yard ball. We don't let them convert on 4th and 1 in the flat, for example, in the third quarter. That's football at this level. It's a limited number of plays or sequences that can really change the trajectory of an outcome. We're still the same group that stunk it up last week. That's football.
You call that 4-3 alignment, and what was the thinking behind using that?
I'm not going to get into detail there, but we're just trying to utilize the people that we had at our disposal. We were limited in a lot of ways in the secondary, and so the people that have been here, we had to find ways for them to contribute, and so it got us out of this week. We'll see what next week holds.
A lot of times when you guys have combated the quick passing game, you've been very proficient at batting the ball down the line of scrimmage. It seems like you got back to that today. Was that an area of emphasis?
We're always on that. Sometimes we're successful, sometimes we're not. It's not like all of a sudden we're in that business this week. We're in that business every week.
Like what kind of momentum or wave did that TJ strip sack provide for you?
It was everything. We were running on the beach offensively. We needed a short field. And like all great players do, man, he provided it when we needed it most.
Coach, I talked to Joe Hayden a couple weeks ago, and he was saying one of the indicators about you when you kind of tweak things, he said it always shows. We talked about your Super Bowl victories near Tampa. So this week, did you take any extra care maybe of maybe tweaking some things, as Joe would say?
It is my job to do what's required to provide these guys what it is they need, formally and informally, strategically. It's just a job.
I know last week you somewhat bemoaned having to settle for field goals, but 3 of their turnovers turned into touchdowns. So I'm assuming now, obviously, that was big for your offense and defense.
It was complimentary football, but that's what happens when you take the ball away from people, man. It feeds itself, and that's probably one of the most disappointing things about the stretch that we were on. We weren't taking the ball away. That's the lifeblood for us, not only as a defense but as a football team. It's a catalyst for how we engineer victory.
Didn't completely end the game, but what can you say about Joey making that play on this day with his dad and that 05 team here?
Hey, first I just gotta, acknowledge that 05 team. It was really good to see them. It's really good to perform for them. this weekend, man. They are deserving of that. I know a lot of those men and work with a lot of those men, man. They're a special group, and I hope that they had a great time fellowshipping and reminiscing and doing the things that come with these type weekends. But certainly that was a significant play by Joey. We had a lot of significant plays, though we did, and a lot of contributions from a lot of people.
Would you like better about how you guys handled the tight end this week? I know you spoke about him a lot in your Tuesday press conference. The guys in defense did. What did you like about that?
We just did a nice job of eliminating the intermediate passing game off the play pass. But again, as I mentioned, you don't get a chance to do that unless you're minimizing the run. If they're running the ball successful on you, that intermediate play pass is what comes next. And so we were able to maintain control of the run game, and it minimized some of that intermediate passing game that really features his talents and where they're really trying to get him the ball. I think that was the synopsis of the entire day. Really, anything that we did defensively, it started first and foremost with minimizing Taylor.
Coach, can you talk about Jalen Ramsey, the importance of Jalen Ramsey? He didn't move around a lot today. He pretty much stayed at safety.
I can't say enough about Jalen. Jalen does any and everything that we require for him to do. We needed him to play exclusively free safety today, and he did, and did it at a high level. I'm just glad he's on the team.
How do you describe the resiliency of this group, particularly your defense?
We're going to keep writing that story. We responded today. See you next week.
How far is the impact of Peyton Wilson in this game, and how far has he come just this season?
You know, it's a reasonable expectation. A second-year player who played a lot last year, made some plays last year. It's a natural progression when you got a good relationship with the game, you work the way that he works, and you have the talent that he has. I don't think anybody is surprised by the impact and the general trajectory of his game.
Coach, and your thoughts on just Jack Sawyer making the splash play, his interception?
Man, the sun's always shining on Jack Sawyer. He's a 5-star.
Mike, did you know that Duggar was going to have to be in there as much as he was?
Probably about Thursday, we knew we had an issue. But again, you know, he's a veteran guy, and that's why you go get a veteran capable guy like that. It's reminiscent of when we acquired Minka Fitzpatrick, to be quite honest with you. He got to us in a similar time during the week. We were out in the Bay Area, man, and he fit right in instantly. His talent showed. He made plays for us. Felt similarly with the contributions we were able to get from Duggar today.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, that's there you go, Mike Tomlin.
The great news conference.
Yeah,
that was a brilliant news conference to credit, you know, players that aren't the stars. That's exactly where he needed to go in this news conference, because it was about the guys that are not the stars, the guys that came off the bench, the Jalen Ramseys, the guys that don't make the headlines. This was a great team effort, and this is one of the best coached games I've ever seen Mike Tomlin do. This was a great coaching job.
Jerry, I want to get to you, but I want to ask you this. Initial reaction in watching Mike from the very beginning. And listen, I play a lot of poker. I interview a lot of people. I can read people. That's a guy who was relieved that they got a win today. Because that's Mike Tomlin in those first 60, 90 seconds was relieved that they won that football game. Jerry, your thoughts?
Well, the first thing that struck me, John, something similar to what you just said, he was very subdued. He wasn't, high-fiving people like sometimes coaches do, getting all excited about, beating the Colts, even though the Colts were 7-1. He knows he has an imperfect team. He knows his team played well today, but he also knows his team has a lot of work to do. They have to get their players healthy, and they're not a real healthy team right now, especially on defense. And I think he knows that there's a lot of work left to do this season. And just because they beat a 7-1 team, the Colts, that doesn't mean anything about playoffs or anything like that. This Steelers team has a long, long way to go.
John Fedko.
I just want to go back to my opinion of that press conference, and I'm obviously I've covered Mike Thomas since he got here. I've covered started sports at '87. I covered Noel. That was brilliant. I don't know about the pressure thing. He said exactly what a great leader says. And we all know that T.J. Watt and Hayward and everybody played great. You needed in this press conference to talk about the 53rd guy in the roster, He needed in this press conference to talk about the entire team because it was those guys who won this game. Okay, it was the no names. It was the undefeated 71 Dolphin no name defense. Nobody knows who their names are. Maybe Manny Fernandez. That's what won this game today. The guys that came off the bench. I know the big stars stepped up. We talked about that. Rodgers was ordinary, but that's good enough. But it was those bench players, the special teams guys. He gave the game ball to a guy that nobody had even heard of. I love the press conference. The thing about Tomlin is there is a reason why he wins. Okay, he doesn't win the big games, but he wins, and you saw it. He has the ability in him to be. I like, as a guy that has two sons who are pro athletes. I really look at coaches. My son's played it for a guy named Jim Penders, a legendary coach in baseball. Same type thing. I love to see how they act after wins and losses. And that was a brilliant press conference. I don't think it was filled with pressure. That was brilliant. You come out and you talk about the last guy in the roster after a game like that. And the guys in the locker room will appreciate that. And it's an emotional game. Football, among all the four sports, is by far the most emotional. And you win players with press conferences like that. I loved it. I loved it.
It definitely different from what we've seen from him in the past, especially after a win. I'm talking about the nonverbal here. I'm looking at his face. I'm listening to him just emote what he's saying. And that's a guy who's relieved because I think he's feeling the pressure. He's feeling the pressure. And that was a guy that was relieved as to how things played out. Because the first 15 minutes were not good. But his defense stepped in and they stepped up. And that's a guy, reading non-verbally is what I'm saying.
He's relieved but not satisfied, John. I think that's
exactly.
the big thing.
Well, because
that's fine.
He's got a giant game coming. He's got a giant road game coming up on the West Coast this Sunday. You know what I mean? He wants to keep whatever that magic he had in that bottle, okay, and give him credit for it. Again, he gets so much plasterness, with guys tweeting fire Tom or whatever, and that's okay. Right. That's what media's about.
He doesn't care about that.
When you see a coaching performance like this, which was brilliant, okay, I would put this on the brilliant effort. Give him credit for it, and he wants to try to keep that in the bottle, okay? He wants to try to take that to San Diego with him. Always, it always starts at the top and it always ends at the top. And that you got it when you look at today's game and that huge win, biggest win of the year. If they have an amazing season and win a ton, we're going to look back at this game. Start with him, man. The team was coming off a horrific loss. The media's all over the whole team. It looks like complete chaos. They have a 7-1 team coming here. Looks like a powerhouse. And, man, he pulls it off in front of his home fans in pretty dramatic fashion. And with guys that are injured, with guys coming off the bench that nobody's heard of, making significant efforts, I credit the head coach, man. It starts with him. I love this press conference. A lot of times.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Well, I just want to say this one thing because a lot of these press conferences, they're just don't even listen to them. It's coach speak. That was not coach speak, John. That was
very emotional
press conference.
Yeah,
it was brilliant. But the Grapes line was pretty good, Jerry.
And that's why I'm saying his nonverbal spoke more to me in that monologue before he took questions of a man a bit relieved of what the end results was. Jerry DePaula, go ahead.
The big observation I have is he was happy about the win, but to him, it was not enough to set aside what happened in the previous 2 weeks.
Sure.
He was so upset by the Bengals game and the Packers game and how the defense played that just because they won today doesn't solve all their ills. And he realized they have a lot of ills they have to fix. And if they had won bigger today and maybe scored more often, he might have felt a little bit better. I think the first thing he's going to do when he walks out of that press conference is start thinking about the Chargers and turn on the video machine and start watching the film of Justin Herbert.
All right, I want to bring Bill Phillips. I want to bring Bill. Now I'm doing it, but I want to bring Bill Akins in here. He wants to talk to you guys. Go ahead, Bill. No, get me out of here. Just get me out of here. I'm not even needed at this point.
We love NGL. We got to get this thing up.
No. Just get rid of
Okay.
I'm okay with that. The NPL thing's got to be up there. We love North Park Lounge. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Billy.
No, I said, in the pregame show, guys, I felt good about this game for some reason, and I said it because this is a game that it's a Tomlin game, in it that it's a game you shouldn't win, but he finds a way to do it. Some of the games that you should win, we find a way to lose. But I said they needed to get off to a good start. I said if they win the toss, which they did, don't defer, get the ball, try to score often and as much as you can. And I mean, I don't know, 6 turnovers. I mean, hey, that was great, and you're not gonna win with 6 turnovers. I mean, but I don't know. I just
when you get 6 turnovers, you probably should win by more than a touchdown. And that
exactly.
Tomlin was thinking about,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, the Colts are a pretty good team. That's a pretty good team. But I'm with you. If you get 6 turnovers in San Diego, I'm with you. I think the critical. The critical stat to look at, or the critical area to look at this week in San Diego, is can they run the ball?
Yeah,
they need to be able to run the ball, to control the clock, and have longer drives. Can they?
Need
but
to
again,
run the ball to win.
They're swinging that. They're doing those swing passes, and those are basically runs.
Right.
Where the back's running out of the backfield, and they're swinging it over there.
Well,
so
and I know.
Same thing.
And I know, we talked about the Colts. I mean, 7-1 going into this game, but let's look at who the Colts beat. I mean, they beat the Dolphins. They did beat the Broncos.
Yeah, the Broncos may not be for real, even though they won today. Go ahead.
They beat the Titans twice. They lost against the Rams.
Yeah.
They beat the Raiders. They beat the Cardinals, and they beat the Chargers. So I mean.
And the Chargers won by 7-9. They barely won that game.
Won by 7, I think, over the Titans.
Yeah,
38-24.
There's no dominant team. This
is
like, there just isn't. I mean, I'm going to say that for the 50th time. There's no. I mean, I'm an old man just like Jerry. I mean, I've been watching football a long time, and I could have told you. I don't know what year it was 3, but hey, by this time, I know what you say, Jerry, but. By this time of the year, you're saying the Chiefs are going to win. I'm not even watching another game, and they do end up winning it. It's like I'm not even watching the rest of the game the rest of the year. That's not the case.
Oh, I agree that
if the Chiefs go on the road this week this year in the playoffs, they will lose.
Yeah, it's a wide open. It's a wide open AFC.
That's a big if. That's a big if. They go to Arrowhead. Arrowhead's up against the league wanting them to win there, and that might sound crazy, but
you're not wrong. No, you're not wrong. By the way, Chargers won 27-20. Broncos are 7-2. 7-2.
They may be a house of cards. I haven't.
But most of this league is a house of cards. Most of this league is a house of cards.
New England's not a house of cards. New England's got a quarterback. They are not. But Denver can be beaten, and I think the Steelers could beat them in Denver. I'm not afraid of Denver. You do not want to go to New England. That kid's for real. That quarterback's
Drake May.
Yeah, he's real.
Yeah, he's played well. No question about it.
He's the star of the league. That kid is real. And I love Justin Love. I want to know what happened in Green Bay. What in the world happened out there?
Carolina knocked them off today.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I mean. It's the NFL. Things change.
It is.
I can tell you right now, it was a high handle, and the books needed Carolina is what they needed.
Yeah,
and that's exactly,
right about that.
That's exactly what happened.
No, you're right about that, John.
When
I look at scores like that, that's the first thing I wonder, John. Okay, is a fix in? I mean, that's it. What in the?
By the way, I still think I have a number for Bill Phillips, but he has not responded yet.
I love Billy Phillips.
Listen,
he was awesome.
If this is still his number, I'm going to try to get him on the show next week.
If you get him on the show, I love him.
I tried to get Big Ed. He didn't respond to me, John.
Big Ed, I'll talk to you about Big Ed. You're doing. You maybe have the wrong email because he wants to come on.
No, I sent him a text message.
That's okay. We'll get him.
I was going to surprise you.
We'll get him on.
Okay.
I wish you would. We don't need Big Ed. We got to start talking about the Lopes. The Lopes have a game this week.
Yeah. We need to start talking about
coming out the bye week. Look at the cap. It's awesome.
I keep calling for the Emerson, Lake, and Palmer album. I'll just take Pink Floyd The Wall and I'll be happy. Duke Johnport. All right, couple seconds left. Steel City post game. John Phillips, Jerry DePaula, and the man himself, John Fedko. Couple minutes away from wrapping this up. Any other quick thoughts, Jerry?
I'll do it real quick. Steelers are going to win in San Diego.
Okay, fair enough.
Again, I know it's Los Angeles. And by the way, Acrisure Hines. They're going to win in San Diego.
Jerry
D,
next week. If they run the ball against the Chargers, they're going to lose. You got to get a run game going, or you're going to end up with the Ravens going to catch you.
Yeah. I may have to be in the post game now, Johnny.
No, pregame.
Yeah, the pregame.
I'm going to Florida. Listen, I'm going to. Go ahead.
I mean, if Rodgers breaks his arm this week, they're not going to win. But but whatever.
Here's the good news. I'm going to be home all this week. No more moving. No more me on the road for the next few weeks. I find a few advertisers. Everybody's going to be on the pregame show because we'll be able to afford things if Bill Phillips says so.
Billy
Phillips. I'm going to get a hold of him this week. I swear I am. If I have to drive to Youngstown or Steubenville or wherever he's working, John.
You know what's funny, Jerry? I looked at a tape of this, and I was actually calling John Bill last week. I don't know if you guys did that. I was calling you Billy.
He was.
I'm an old man. I'm 65. I'm going to die any second. I'm 65 years old. I'm an old guy. Come on.
Can I say something? Something? You have all the sky. I know you're doing stuff for Oneberg, and that he's great over there. Do you still have the catalog of the Fedco Zone shows that you did for years?
I have all of them, man. I have everything. In fact, Brian Carruthers, I have everything. I have stuff I did from '82 in Odessa, which I want to show.
You have Fedco Zone shows.
You worked in Odessa covering the Permian Panthers.
I know you did. You didn't go to the game.
I play for them. I did play by play.
You were supposed to go to a game and you didn't, and everybody died. The plane crash coming back.
Story, yeah, I did. Yeah, I was in Odessa, Amarillo, Corpus Christi, Milwaukee, and then here. I love Odessa. I love Odessa, Texas. Love it.
There's no way you have any of the Fedco zones that I hosted by any chance.
I have everything, man. I saved everything.
Oh my God.
I saved everything. I got it all, man. I'm a hoarder, man. I got boxes and boxes of tapes. I got me and Jerry DePaula. We got to pull that out.
There's two
Jerry DePaula.
Oh my God. Jerry, I'm almost certain we had you on at some point.
Yeah, many times with John.
I can't even believe you have all these shows.
Jerry used to do Steelers game shows with me. Remember those days?
I used to book them. I used to book him.
Was those the Cowher years, wasn't it?
That was the Bill Cowher. By the way, you know who I forgot to mention in the Bill Phillips, John Fedco, Sam Nover, Richie Walsh, and me era? Craig Wolfley.
Yeah,
Craig Wolfley. Yeah, he got his part. Oh, he got his broadcasting start in Pittsburgh with us on PCNC.
I pray for Craig Wolfley every day. I like a list of prayers. I always pray for him. I just love Craig Wolfley.
Rest in peace, Craig.
I pray for his soul. Rest in peace. Absolutely.
We had a murderer's row up there for sure.
Yeah. Well, remember about Rich, and again, I say this. I say this with all sincerity. I love Richie Walsh, and Richie was a kid when he started with us.
He was an intern. Yeah, he was
like 22-year-old kid.
Yeah. Yep.
And you could tell Richie was going to be a star at 22. He was a star at 22. Now he's awesome. He's great. I think Rich is really good.
We don't speak anymore, but Richie does a good job. We had a little falling out in 2016. No, I know.
Richie's way better than I ever was. I was a junior.
All right.
I can't even get host's name right.
You don't have to.
When I start calling Jerry Jim or something crazy. But Jerry, I was calling him Bill last week. I'm calling him Bill. You guys aren't even correcting me.
I
worked with Billy Phillips for years. I'm an old guy. I love Billy Phillips. Johnny, Hines, Acrisure, San Diego, Los Angeles. Who cares?
Now that I've moved to
aren't the Raiders still in Oakland?
Yeah, right, exactly. Al Davis is still in charge as well.
Brandon Boys, baby, just win. Win, baby.
By the way, are your boys still home? Are the boys still home? John, are your boys still home?
Oh, yeah, they're here. Oh, yeah.
Okay, all right. I'm going to touch base with you this week. Yeah. Guys, thank you very much. I can't thank you enough. You provide such entertainment, great analysis, as always. Jerry DePaula, John Fedco. Talk to you next week.
We love you, Billy. John.
Hey, guys.
John Fedco, Jerry DePaula.
Have a good night.
I just can't even believe it. I mean, I am speechless. I'm speechless, and I'm speechless. Bill, I'll bring you in as soon as we get these gentlemen off. We'll bring you in here real quick, and we'll wrap things up. Steel City Sunday postgame show. Steelers 27, Colts 20. Steelers now 5-3, and off to Los Angeles to play the Chargers at SoFi Stadium. Let's hopefully bring these two gentlemen off, and then we will bring you in. There we go. There's one, and there's two. And then here is Bill, not Phillips, Akins.
Yeah. Great win today. Like I said, I felt good about this game. And, yeah, I mean, 6 turnovers. I mean, very good, change in the defense performance. And, I said it to you, I think, when we were I think it was at halftime. I said, you're a little scared when you hear Mike Tomlin in his Tuesday press conference say, "Oh, we're not going to change anything about the defense." I think he was just saying that just to
smoke
say that.
Smoke and mirrors?
Right.
Yeah, smoke and mirrors. Okay.
Obviously, they made some adjustments, and, they were the right adjustments for sure. But
yeah, well, again, the defense just, I mean, what more can you say about everything that they did today, especially down 7-0. And, they got down 7-0. Then they got that muff punt. They didn't by the way, and I didn't even address this with either of those two, I don't think. The fact that Mike went for it on 4th and 3 from the 4, we were sitting here. I was good with it. Even if they didn't make it, I wanted to see that from him. And I think he heard a lot of the noise from outside. He's had to, and that's why I'm saying go back and watch his post-game presser. Watch him for about 2-3 minutes. That's a man that was relieved. His team came up with a win today.
You're saying in the first quarter you were happy they went for it on that?
100%. I sat here and I said, I know you said to take the 3.
I would have taken the points.
And I can live with that, but I was happier, be quite honest with you, to see him go for it. And I said, even if they don't get it, it's a step in the right direction because you're not doing what you've been doing, which isn't helping you. And what they've been doing has not helped them. And I'm telling you, go back and watch his first 3 minutes of him talking in that post game. Right. That's a man relieved that they came up with a win
needed
today.
a win. I mean, they needed a win. I mean, if you'd have lost today, you'd have been 4-4, and you would have had the Ravens, like I said, just nipping at your heels at 3-5. Now they're 2 games. They have a 2-game lead in that division, and it's a terrible division. I mean, there's no reason why you shouldn't win this division this year. No reason whatsoever. I mean,
Well, a step in the right direction towards that would be going on the road Sunday and beating the Los Angeles Chargers. Okay, one quick look at the scoreboard. Go ahead. Go ahead, Bill.
When you look at the Chargers, I mean, I think they have a great passing game. I think they've got, they're a pass-heavy offense. But, I mean, they're beatable. I mean, I don't think that they're world beaters. I think that they're definitely beatable. So.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go through the scoreboard here to get you through things as we go into the end of the show here. Carolina goes to 5-4. Are you kidding me? The Carolina Panthers are 5-4. All of a sudden, they're in the thick of things in the NFC South. They defeat Green Bay on the road, 16-13. Your final score in that one. How about that? The Packers are now 5-2-1 on the season. Also final, Minnesota goes on the road. They defeat the Detroit Lions 27-24. Your final score in that one. Minnesota 4-4. Detroit 5-3 in the NFC North. Also finals today. San Francisco beat the Giants 34-24. Of course, the Steelers defeat Indianapolis 27-20. Chicago, tough day for me. I had the Bears under 88.5. 47-42, your final score in that one. By the way, Caleb Johnson, 3 rushing touchdowns. He caught a touchdown pass as well in that game. Chargers defeat Tennessee 27-20 on the road. New England 24, Atlanta 23. Thursday night, Baltimore beat Miami 28-6. Games in progress. The Rams lead New Orleans 20-3 at home at SoFi. Buffalo leads Kansas City 14-10. The Raiders lead Jacksonville at the half 6-3. For the entire cast and crew, John Fedko, I'm calling you tomorrow. We're going to get this all fixed out. Bill Akins, anything else you want to add?
No, I mean, like I said, it was a good win. You're on to LA next week. That should be a good game. I agree with Jerry DePaula. You need to establish a better running game going up against these Chargers. But I mean, it is going to be, it's going to be like a home game for the Steelers. I mean, I remember that one game when Duck Hodges started out there years ago. What was it?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
That was they weren't in SoFi at that point. There was a soccer stadium I think they played at. But I mean, it was 90%. It was 80-90% Steeler fans. So it's going to be, there's going to be kind of a home game atmosphere out in LA. So.
They played at LAFC. They played at the home where who was it? Not Messi. Who was it out there? The English player, the English star. He was playing for Beckham. He played for LAFC, I believe it was. Yeah. They played the Galaxy. LA Galaxy. They played at the soccer stadium that year.
Right.
Yeah, that's that. I remember that game. I'm pretty sure it was 2019.
Yeah, it's 2019. Yeah, because that was the year Ben got hurt and
that's right.
Rudolph come in and then
Duck came in for like 6 games.
Yeah, Rudolph got hurt. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, I think it is going to you're going to have a home-like atmosphere out there, But I mean, hey, Justin Herbert, elite quarterback, stout pass defense. They've got a good secondary, so I think you need to establish this run against the Chargers because, like I said, they've got a stout pass defense. And so we'll see. It's going to be interesting to see Sunday Night Football. You're on the big stage, so
we will have a 4-hour pregame show next week. 4 hours, starting at 4 p.m. from the North Park Lounge, Richland, and the Hilltop Event Center. 4 p.m. start time next Sunday. We'll have all of the announcements, who we're going to have on, all that fun stuff. Maybe Bill Phillips. I may have to drive to Steubenville and go find him just because John Fedko. And I've been looking for somebody to talk about the Browns anyhow. So, it would be perfect for Bill Phillips to come on board. Maybe somebody will get a message to him, but then again, maybe not. For the entire cast and crew, I want to thank Arch Masonry and Restoration, archmasonryinc.com. They are looking for brick masons, block masons, concrete finishers, and labor help. 412-564-5733. Visit them on the web, archmasonryinc.com. For the entire crew up here at North Park Lounge, Richland, I want to say thank you to them. I want to thank Bill Akins, our producer. I'm John Phillips. We'll talk to you on Sunday, and we'll see you through the week on all the socials at Steel City Sunday. Steelers 27, Colts 20. And we were proud to bring it to you here on our pregame and postgame show. What's that again? 27-21.
27-17.
27-17. Thank you. Until next week, thank you, everybody. We'll see you next week.
You're right. It was 27-20. I'm sorry.
Good night, everybody.